Hello there. Today we're going to do Plotina Pompeia. We're in Antiquity Unveiled on page 290. This was the first female that came through in Antiquity Unveiled, so I thought that today would be a really appropriate day to do this testimony. So for all you divine feminine women out there that keep this world glued together, thank you. And here's Plotina. I salute you, sir. In the interest of truth, I lived, that is, in a prominent way, a very short time after the death of Apollonius of Tyana. I saw him when I was a young girl, but never had any acquaintance with him, he dying before I reached womanhood. Of the Jews of my time, that is, in the reign of the Emperor Trajan, the Pharisees and the Essenes were the two principal sects. The Sadducees did not believe in the resurrection. They were very few in number and exerted but little influence. It was believed throughout the Roman Empire at the time that Apollonius of Tyana was the human representative of the god Apollo. On the earth, in fact, it was regarded as his son. There was no Jesus Christ known of in my day. There was a Christos Jesus, which was a combination of Indian and Scandinavian gods. This combination of gods was brought about by the slaves that had been brought from Asia and northern Europe into Italy. There was a worship of this combined god under the designation of Christos Jesusian religion. I myself received divine honors after my death, and it was considered as being taken from the husband of my mortal life to be the companion of the god Apollo in the spirit life. I took a great interest in all classes and grades of Roman citizens, and did my best in all kindness for them. I had no prejudice against any religion. The religion of India was made to assume a different shape from that which ancient manuscripts set it forth to be. Among the letters addressed to my husband, the Emperor Trajan, up to the time of my death, AD 128, relating to religious matters, I never saw any that did not relate to the religions of Christos, Jesus, or Apollonius. Parentheses, did you ever see the letter of Pliny the Younger to Emperor Trajan? End of parentheses. Yes, I saw a letter relating to the Essenes of Antioch, sent at the instance of Apollonius of Tyana and Ignatius of Antioch, that's Ignatius, of Antioch, to the emperor. It was forwarded to Trajan from Pliny by the hands of one Panelus of Thessalonica. Paulus, Paulus, traveled into Bithynia, Bythina, and had an interview with him there. Pliny was the prefect of the Bithynian at the time. Paulus, who was a Greek Jew, was merely the messenger or bearer of the letter to Rome. But Pliny saw nothing wrong with the Essenes, and reported that they were quiet and inoffensive citizens. There was no antagonism at the time between the Platonic and eclectic philosophies. The eclectic philosophy was an offshoot from the doctrines of the gymnosophists, but they had gained but little headway in my day. The principal religion of that time was the worship of the ancient Grecian and Roman myths. Essenism was, in almost all its practical features, the communism. Everything was held and enjoyed in common. I want to dwell particularly on the Christos of India, as he was understood in my day. He was regarded as an incarnation of deity and was worshipped as such. His religion had been brought through the intermediate countries to the Mediterranean Sea and had become modified from the form it had at Singapore, where Apollonius terminated his eastward journeying. As Apollonius moved westward from India, he came to be regarded as the ancient Christos. There was no miracles performed by him. What he did in the way of healing was through his mediumship. But the greatest part of the change in the religion of Christos was made by Apollonius himself. The revelation written by the hand of Apollonius on the Isle of Patmos was considered, in my time, one of the greatest and most mystical manifestations of mediumship, and was read as such by the learned. Parentheses. Was there any reference to Jesus in that mystical communication? End of parentheses. There was no reference to Jesus whatever. I belong to the mystics, or secret inquiries into what you would consider spiritual phenomena. We had our meetings, our circles for that purpose. Parentheses. Was the Emperor Trajan also member of the mystics? End parentheses. He understood that such phenomena occurred, but he was more of a materialist in his views. I learned more to the spiritual, and he more to the materialistic view of things. But as long as he lived, I was never interfered with in my researches by him. In the year AD 85, Apollonius taught at Rome under the name of Paulus or Paul. Parentheses. Do you know that to be the fact? End of parentheses. It was a well-known fact in my day. He received divine honors after his death as the son of Apollo. In his biography, he is represented to have been the incarnation of the god Proteus, Proteus. That was simply the work of Philostratus, who wanted to claim Apollonius as a Greek. In my time, when any man made his mark in the world, all Greek writers wanted to claim him as a Greek. Although I had no personal acquaintance with Apollonius, I conversed with those who were acquainted with him, and who received all knowledge of him from Damas, his disciple. I also knew many Jews who were followers of Apollonius. They became so from what occurred through Apollonius when he was at Jerusalem. The account that they gave of his journey to that city was precisely the same as the modern account of the same events attributed to Jesus of Nazareth. The Nazarites of my day were the same as your modern monks. They shaved their heads as the crowning act of their initiation. I never visited their settlements, but those of them who were sent to us always had their heads shaven. Parentheses. Did you get their name from a place or settlement? End of parentheses. They came from Gaza. The Nazarites of my time were the same in the belief as the Carthaginians of your day. That is, they were the worshippers of one God and did not acknowledge in intercessor, but they changed their views subsequently and united with the Gnostics, with whom they became identified. I think this will be plain by sculpted inscriptions on the ruins of ancient Hierapolis. I think if the ruins of that ancient city could be properly explored, the truth of my communication can be established. I felt that I could give my communication today, And I have therefore accompanied the medium here for that purpose. Question mark. The medium told us that the spirit that wanted to control him had been with him for several hours previously. I think if you will carefully examine the most ancient copies of the letter of Pliny to Trajan, you will find in what respects it has been changed and interpolated. I am informed that the two ancient copies of it are in the Vatican Library at Rome and the Royal Library of Berlin. Plotina, thank you very much. That was wonderful. And for Divine Feminine, for all the Divine Feminine.